sports back in your life. Monday.
On Channel 2 News next, a young woman allegedly stages her own kidnapping, a medical breakthrough in sickle cell anemia, and the race for second place. I'll tell you about the men who want to be lieutenant governor.
Another bomb found in New York, the fourth since Friday. Ma Bell rings up big profits this Mother's Day, and Dennis live on Broadway with the opening of the new Tommy Tune musical, 9.
The up-to-the-minute weekend report, Channel 2 News live with Tony Guida, Randall, Pinkston, Len Berman with sports, and Alan Casper with the weather.
Good evening. We will update the war news in the South Atlantic later on in this broadcast, but first, the top story in our area. An 18-year-old Long Island woman is in custody tonight, accused with her boyfriend of faking her own abduction to get $100,000 in ransom. Peter Dench reports.
Vivian LeBron, the 18-year-old Massapequa woman who allegedly staged her own abduction, is under medical care tonight in the Nassau County Correctional Institute. LeBron's lawyer told the district court judge that she had a history of emotional problems and had been under psychiatric care. The judge ordered LeBron placed under what was called a suicidal watch. 27-year-old Joseph Dolce of Malvern, Long Island, was also charged as a co-conspirator. He is being held on $30,000 bail. In the faked abduction, Dolce allegedly warned he had a bomb attached to LeBron and that he would blow her up if $100,000 was not paid. Police say LeBron's parents started to receive a series of telephone calls that mentioned the bomb threat. They called police. The FBI was brought in. Then, just yesterday, Vivian's father was led here to the Roosevelt Field Shopping Center. He was told to wait for instructions. Eventually, he was led to 9 different telephone booths. It ended nearby at the East Meadow Flick Twin Cinema. Inside, police say this is what happened. Vivian's father put the ransom money in a front row seat and then left. Then a woman wearing a blonde wig moved in and was later joined by a man. Police say they recognized the woman wearing the blonde wig as Vivian. They later arrested the couple in the parking lot. We wanted to talk to Vivian LeBron's parents about their daughter, about the allegations of the faked abduction. Instead, they chose to roll down their window shades. Peter Dench, Channel 2 News, Massapequa.
A pipe bomb was discovered in front of a Brooklyn bakery today, the fourth bomb planted in the city since Friday. This one found by an employee who arrived at 4 o'clock this morning at the Bay Ridge Bake Shop. The bomb was dismantled without harming anyone. The other 3 bombs exploded, killing 1 person. One blast went off in a Midtown flower shop, the other in a Midtown synagogue. The fatal explosion was in Brooklyn, when a woman opened a cookbook that someone sent her through the mails. Police today are saying that a family dispute might be linked to that bombing, but they refuse to elaborate.
Police are standing at close watch over a Freeport, Long Island man who may hold the key to the gangland-style killing of 3 men in Queens yesterday. The man, Adrian Persico Jr., was critically wounded in that shooting. Police today are refusing to say whether they've been able to talk to him or even whether he is conscious. Police have ruled out robbery, but they have not ruled out an organized crime connection as the motive for that crime.
Well, problems with the law coincide with the rigors of the campaign trail for 3 New Jersey politicians. In Newark, 2 of the 5 candidates for mayor are under indictment for official misconduct. Mayor Kenneth Gibson and City Council President Earl Harris were indicted for giving a man a high-paying job, a job that he didn't have to show for. And Union City's Mayor William Musto is running for a 5th term. Tomorrow, he will be sentenced for extortion and racketeering convictions. Those elections for mayor will be held on Tuesday in both Newark and Union City.
On this side of the river, the big election this year is for governor of New York. And while it figures to be a juicy battle between and within both major parties, there is also a brouhaha developing for the 2nd spot on the ticket, especially among Democrats. The names of at least a dozen politicians have been mentioned so far. One man who'd like to be lieutenant governor is Westchester County Executive Al Del Bello. He supports Ed Koch for governor, but that's causing him problems because much of his county organization backs Mario Cuomo. Another candidate for the 2nd spot is millionaire John Dyson, commissioner of the State Power Authority, the former commerce commissioner who created the I Love New York campaign. Dyson is already running a media campaign said to cost several $100,000.
Because the man makes the job.
A third potential candidate is Carl McCall. From 1975 to 1980, he was a state senator from Manhattan, then deputy ambassador at the United Nations under Donald McHenry, now senior vice president of WNET. McCall wants to stage a race independent of the candidates for governor.
And I'm not going to support either one of them, but I think if I were to run, I would bring to either candidates the kind of support from the minority community, from liberals and progressive people, that either candidate would need to win.
Does he feel the vote he would bring out in a primary would be from people likely to support Mario Cuomo?
That's quite possible. On the other hand, if Mr. Koch is a smart politician and recognizes that that vote's coming out and that he needs that vote, perhaps he'd be prepared to modify some of his positions in an attempt to appeal to that vote, recognizing that he might need that vote to win.
McCall says his support includes the backing of every black and Hispanic elected official in this state. All that he needs now to complete his decision to run, he says, is financial backing. McCall thinks the race will cost at least $1 million. One official often mentioned for Lieutenant Governor, Buffalo Mayor Jim Griffin, now says he will not run. Griffin wanted the slot on the Koch ticket, but now says he'll stay on in Buffalo. And speaking of Ed Koch, he will announce tomorrow his budget for 1983, a budget that will follow him in this race for governor. Koch and the city have a problem. It is a projected budget gap of about $800 million, and Koch will have to ask for at least one new tax, probably a surcharge on the city income tax, to help close that gap. Randall?
Well, still to come on Channel 2's Weekend Report, a reggae singer is being hunted by the feds who are accusing him of being a drug smuggler. Len Berman highlights the Islanders' winning playoff game in overtime, the first game. And Dennis Cunningham is standing by live as Broadway gets ready for a big musical opening. Hello, Dennis. Stay with us.
How are you?
Fine, thanks. See you in a minute.
In Washington today, researchers announced that they have developed a new prenatal test to detect sickle cell anemia. The blood disorder strikes as many as 1 out of every 500 blacks in this country. The new test uses amniocentesis, the analysis of the mother's amniotic fluid during pregnancy. The test is said to be simpler and safer than others now in use.
Police tonight are holding a Rosedale youth for the brutal bludgeoning death of his 83-year-old neighbor yesterday. Channel 2's Sam Dick has more.
17-year-old Michael Palomar is a high school dropout, worker at a car wash. Police believe early Saturday morning he broke into his next-door neighbor's home, the home of Morris Rosenhalf, who was deaf.
Investigation disclosed that the homicide occurred during the commission of a burglary with a blunt instrument used as the weapon.
Detective Flaherty says neighbors called police last night when the broken window was discovered, and Rosenhalf's body was found by police around 8:30 Saturday evening. 8 hours later, an arrest was made. The suspect, Michael Palomar, had no previous record. Today, the teenager is charged with homicide, burglary, and criminal possession of a deadly weapon. Now, according to the arresting officer, the neighborhood where the murder took place, the same area where Michael lives, is usually quiet and peaceful. But that's not how longtime residents describe the community.
Lately, it's been hell, actual hell here.
Everybody's vulnerable, let's face it. We all are.
The people who live in this neighborhood, many of them for as much as 35 years, say they are not only frightened by what has taken place, but some of them say they may consider leaving for good.
It was fine, but in the past 8, 10 years,
About 10 years,
it's got unbearable to live here. You afraid to come home?
Neighbors here say they're going to miss Morris Rosenhalf, an 83-year-old retired electrician who neighbors describe as very nice, a man who would do anything he could for you. Sam Dick reporting for Channel 2 News in Queens.
Federal drug agents say 7 alleged members of Jamaican pot smuggling ring are in jail tonight. Police are still looking for reggae star Jerry Mathias, who sings with Toots and the Maytals band, and a second man on charges of trying to bribe customs agents. The 2 men are accused of offering customs agents $25,000 to smuggle 350 pounds of marijuana into this country. No other members of the band are said to be involved in the pot smuggling ring.
10 blocks of Park Avenue South changed into a pedestrian mall today for the 3rd annual Park Avenue Festival. Thousands of people watched craftsmen at work, and many others bought last-minute Mother's Day presents from dealers offering handmade quilts and Depression-era glass. The festival raises money for the Park Avenue South community newspaper. Tony?
A big new musical is opening on Broadway tonight, and Channel 2's arts editor Dennis Cunningham is standing by on Broadway right now to tell us about it. The show's title is 9. And the curtain goes up in just a couple of minutes. Dennis will get the opportunity to review it and report on that later, but here he is right now.
Hi, Tony. Well, yeah, here we are at the end of the Broadway season. Tonight is the official cutoff date. Any play that's going to be eligible for a Tony Award must open by midnight tonight, and the last play to open is a play called Nine. This season opened way back last August with a play called The Supporting Cast, starring Hope Lang. That's no longer with us. In fact, most of the plays that open on Broadway this season are no longer with us. It's been a fairly dismal season, and a lot of people are investing an awful lot of emotion in this musical called Nine. Not just emotion, but almost $3 million, because that's how much the musical cost. This musical, directed by Tommy Tune, is based on the classic Federico Fellini movie, 8½, about a movie director who's reached some sort of impasse in his life, and about the 21 women in his life. And what we'd like to do now, before I come back later in the evening to review Nine, because I haven't seen it yet, is show you and me a sneak preview. Curtain will be going up on the opening night of Nine any moment now, so I'd better get in there. I'd like to remind you again, this is the final night for the to be eligible for a Tony Awards. The last play to open officially this season for the Tonys is the musical Nine. I'll be back later this evening after I've seen it with a review of Nine. Back to Studio 46.
Thank you, Dennis. We look forward to that review. I guess inflation caught up with the Fellini movie 8½, which is now 9. Sports next with Len Berman on Channel 2's Weekend Report. He'll be highlighting the Mets beating the San Francisco Giants today. They tried to give it away, but the Giants wouldn't take it. And the 2 NBA semifinal series started today. Len will have that action, a lot more coming up. Sports now with Len Berman and some disturbing news about Sugar Ray Leonard. Len?
Tony, it could be quite serious. 2 hours of eye surgery today for Sugar Ray Leonard, a partially detached retina in his eye, maybe from the pounding he took in beating Thomas Hearns. It is an open question when and if Sugar Ray Leonard will fight again. Well, what an Islander game last night, wasn't it? The Islanders got 2 huge breaks to tie and win it, 6-5 in overtime. They won it thanks to the worst pass of the year in hockey. Here's how they tied it. 5 minutes left, Richard Brodeur gets tangled up way outside the net. Tonelli kicks at it with his skate, and there, all by himself in front, is Bossy. That forced the overtime 5-5. Just 2 seconds left in overtime. Harold Snepp should have done anything but this. Passed it right in front. Bossy, bingo, won it. What a reaction by Bossy to steal a terrible pass. And the Islanders win in overtime, as they always do, 6-5, thanks to Vancouver mistakes. Game 2 will be Tuesday night. The Mets beat the Giants today. Same score, 6-5. Home run derby. Rusty Staub won it. First, Ron Hodges. Sayonara, his 14th home run in 10 years. 3-0 Mets. In the 5th, Chili Davis batting about .900 against the Mets. He hit a 3-run shot to left. That ties it 3-3. The very next pitch, Johnny LeMaster, another one to left. Back-to-back off Pete Falcone. The Giants lead at 4-3. But in the 6th inning, Kong says, I'm the home run hitter around here. His 11th of the year to lead the free world. Mets lead at 5-4. But in the 8th inning, Tom O'Malley says, so what if it's just my 2nd game in the major leagues? He hits another one, and it's 5-5. 9th inning, Rusty Staub wins it. A 2-out pinch hit home run for the 38-year-old Staub. The Mets win it, finally, 6-5. The Yankees late last night climbed into a tie for last place instead of sole possession of the cellar. They beat Seattle 9-4, breaking loose for 13 hits. Here's where it started in the 3rd inning. Jerry Mumphrey rifled one up the gap in left center. Bobby Brown, remember him, he's in center, he can't get it. Bounces away from Brown. Bucky scores. Ball just keeps on rolling away. So Griffey scores. And Mumphrey legs it all the way to 3rd, a 2-run triple. Then in the 5th, John Mayberry, and hello, his first hit as a Yankee for big John Mayberry. It's gone. They win it 9-4. It was funny nose and glasses night in Seattle. How's that for a new baseball promotion? They drew 36,000 to get those things. The 2 teams play again tonight. NBA playoffs, games 1 today. Los Angeles beat San Antonio by 11, and Boston beat Philadelphia by 40. How many million times do the Celtics do this? Bird comes in, draws a crowd, gives to Paris for 2. Boston led by just 6 after 1, but second quarter. Look at this one by Rick Roby, and it goes in. Roby had 15 in the quarter, a 17-point halftime lead. Third quarter, the Celtics just bombed them. Look at this pass. Bird. And to Henderson, that's a touchdown. A 37-point lead after 3. Doc could do nothing or say nothing. It was 121-81, Boston winning by 40. It took Lendl just 49 minutes to beat Dibbs at Forest Hills today in the finals. By doing so, he wins another $100 grand, making over $1 million this year, and it's only May. 6-1, 6-1 the final. He also got a $43,000 fur coat for his mother in Czechoslovakia. Grow up to be a tennis player, Ivan. Fur coat worth $43,000. Finally, Sunday night miscellany. Here are some of the best moves by athletes this weekend. First of all, the Celtics are leading Philadelphia by 30 points today. And we're not going to see it. Well, maybe at 11 o'clock. I'll also be back at 11 with highlights of the San Antonio-Los Angeles basketball game, some other baseball. Sorry about that, folks. And Barry Beck will be my special guest live tonight on Sports Update. See you later. That's sports.
Thanks, Len. Just ahead, we'll have an update on today's fighting in the South Atlantic. Alan Casper has his forecast for the new week, and we will take a look at some of the ways we are remembering Mother this day. We'll be right back.
How are you?